Okay, hello. Yeah, I know, it's election day. It's a bit late now. I'm over at my sister's, because she's got CNN. So I'm going to hit up some mainstream TV to follow the results live. Anyway, it's a bit late in the day now. And like I've only got 18 viewers, whatever, but...
As a successful activewear brand, we wanted a bank that matched our...
Yeah, I just saw this. This popped up on my feed, and I'm going to comment on this because I think this is quite a good summary. I only watched a little bit of it, but let's just see. What are Americans voting for today?
Candidates who are so different, it's very tempting to focus on this. This is also about issues which are going to decide, have a look at the issues that are important to people voting. So it's border security and immigration, inflation and the cost of living, economy, protecting democracy, and abortion. Well,
let's have a look at this. All right, so border security, obviously Trump's ahead. He's doing a better job with that. Inflation and cost of living. Oh, I think it's fingered. Oh, where's the red dot? We'll find out in a minute, but whatever, Trump's way ahead of Kamala. Economy, Trump's way ahead of protecting democracy. Well, I don't know if you buy into all the mainstream, threat to Orange Man back. And somehow, this is coming from a candidate who didn't get one. How is she even? Did she win the Democratic National Congress? Were there any no. But yeah, protect democracy. Yeah, does that include, I don't know, protecting the Constitution, free speech? Well, she's all about censorship, isn't she? So yeah, if you want to believe that stuff, believe that stuff. Abortion? Come on, you don't vote for... There are a number of states that have abortion on the ballot. They're states, that's all that happened, okay? It's not a federal decision anymore, it's a state decision. Or in the case of Philadelphia, it's a Commonwealth decision. But, sorry, not Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Because you're a Commonwealth, you're not a state, okay? But, and maybe anyway, look, just seriously, and then have you heard... Do you actually know what Trump's position on abortion is? Because it's very reasonable and it's in line with most of Europe. If you want the crazy, excessive, weird stuff. Right, get to the next slide, because the next slide is really why I decided to make this video. Go on.
How each candidate fares. So if you're further along on the right here, that's voters thinking you're doing a better job. So on border security and immigration, Donald Trump way out front here. Inflation and cost of living and the economy, he has clear leads over Kamala Harris.
Well, that's all great. I'm going to speed this up because of copyright issues and also to save time. And then also, if anyone wants to come at me for some sort of TV license or something, I'm at my sister's at the moment, okay? I could be just taping this off the TV with her, but it's on YouTube. I know it's Sky News, but then, well, it's not a terrestrial channel. It's a bit muddy. Well, come for me for a TV license violation.
When it comes to protecting democracy, though, and on abortion, Kamala Harris has those leads here. And a lot of that is based on what candidates have been saying about their economic plans. But in this case, we've also got experience of both candidates being in power, whether it's Donald Trump as president or as Kamala Harris as vice president. And this is what people will be taking into the voting booth as well. This is real-term wages over the Trump...
Real-time wages, and look at that number of days. How many days are we going in? Are we going the full term? Because look at that. I mean, even Trump with the COVID stuff. And this is the thing. I think they lie to you. I think you're being lied to. If you think that... Does this take account of inflation? Average real terms, full-time weekly earnings, seasonally adjusted. Trump put more money in your pocket. He did. There were more full-time jobs, so you didn't need to have 2 or 3 jobs. You just had one full-time job. And then the average earnings, they were higher because the economy there were real jobs back in America. Carry on, dude, okay? I have to comment to get around any copyright. We're doing fair use, right? I'm adding commentary, okay?
presidency and over the Biden and Harris presidency. You can see under Donald Trump, there was this big growth, plus 7% in wages. And that was over 4 years. That didn't happen under Biden and Harris. Actually, it was a drop of around minus 4%. So people will be taking that lived experience into the voting booth.
Maybe that, I feel like maybe that takes inflation into account. But come on. Okay, let's see what else is next.
In terms, again, of those issues, where they might matter, well, let's go back to this road to 270 electoral college votes. This is a what-if scenario with the battleground states here left out in grey. And if you look here in the northeast, what's sometimes called the Rust Belt, well, there is where the economy is really, really important. That is the top issue. But if you go over here in the southwest, Arizona and Nevada, that's where immigration becomes a bigger issue. And again, on both those issues, Donald Trump has a lead over Kamala Harris. But we mentioned abortion there, and let's bring that into the mix as well, because that's going to be really, really important in this election. When it comes to this vote, people going to vote will have all sorts of things to vote on, depending on the state. But in certain states, they'll also be voting about abortion laws. That's in the way.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to make a decision on abortion. You don't need to choose your president based on abortion. You can vote within your state. That shouldn't be. You shouldn't be deciding a president based on the abortion stuff. Do you know what I mean? You should be deciding the president based on the safety of the country, the economy of the country, the trade, the wars, it should be something else. That's all that happened with Roe v. Wade. No one's trying to take away people's rights to states. States decide. But it shouldn't be federal, because you can't even agree a consensus within. And Trump hasn't, it's not illegal to have it. Well, I mean, depending on what the state law is, but then change the state law. But he's behind. I don't know. What does he say? 8 to 12 weeks. Well, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty of it. I don't. But it's just not what you're told it is. None of it is, okay?
Of Roe versus Wade being overturned by the Supreme Court, states being free to make their own laws. And as you can see, these are all the states where that's happening. Now, none of these really are battleground states, apart from these two here, Nevada and Arizona. So although immigration is really, really important, abortion is literally on the ballot there, and that could have an effect. Because again, this is about lived experience as well as what might happen in the future. This shows the number of people who've been travelling out of state for an abortion. In 2019, 73,000 people went out of their state to have an abortion. In the wake of Roe versus Wade, that has really surged to more than 170,000 in 2023. That is another thing, another issue that could be at the forefront of voters' minds as they make their decisions today.
Join 32 Red and get a welcome bonus up to £150. They're incredible.
Okay, I'm not going to pretend that's quite sobering. Let's just go back and have a look at that again. I mean, what states in particular? Because I'm willing to accept that I'm misinformed. I'm willing to accept that
20,000 in 20.
I'm willing to be educated. Number of patients travelled out of state for an abortion. That's 2019. I want to get rid of that. That's 2023.
2019, 73,000 people went out.
Right, that's 2023. That's after the reversal of Roe v. Wade. So that's 100,000 more people. I'm not going to pretend any of that's good or anything. I'm not, I think that, and I've heard some of the, horror stories of, with like an overzealous law, I mean, life of the mother has to be like, if the baby and if you've got risk of sepsis and stuff, like, do you know what I mean? I can understand. It's a very, because sometimes pregnancies, they don't, a lot of people, I mean, this is one of the things that we use, one of the metrics that we use to cover, like a, I don't know, civilized, evolved society or something, is maternity mortality rates is important. I'm not going to pretend. It is an important issue. Look at it. Look, I mean, there. I don't know. Are 100,000 people travelling because they don't know what the law in their state is, or they had to travel because. And like I said, I've heard the horror stories. I'm not going to pretend I'm ignorant to it. I wouldn't choose a president on this issue. State law, we saw that a little while ago. There's a number of states where abortion and changing their state law is on the ticket. I think that's the better way to go, because I don't think it should be a federal law. I don't think it should cover the whole country, because I don't think you can reach a consensus. I mean, if you could...
Free to make their own laws. And as you can see, these are all the states where that's happening.
I'm aware of Florida. I know what they've got going on. All right. I've criticised this as being an election-winning issue. I think it should be dealt with at a state level. I'm willing to admit that perhaps I was, I'm willing to admit I was wrong with that. I'm willing to admit that I think I've got to go. My sister's kind of at work and she's doing a call at the moment, and I just thought I'd do some sneaky content. And yeah, I'm willing to admit that I was probably wrong. Because 100,000 is enough to sway the vote after what we saw in the previous. But I don't think that the situation is as dire as the Democrats paint it out to be. I just think you need to address the state laws. I think the state laws should have been addressed previously in anticipation of a reversal of Roe v. Wade, because Roe v. Wade was always contested. It was always under fire, because it was already latched to the 14th Amendment or something. I'm not entirely sure it should have been a federal decision, okay? That's it, basically. And now it's gone back to the states, so lobby within the states. And so these states and other states have already addressed their law. And so I really have a lot of sympathy and empathy for those women, I really do. But I wouldn't choose a president on this decision. I wouldn't. And I'm sorry, and I do realise that for some women, that's... I'm not trying to do anyone harm. Okay, anyway. I won't upload this.
None of these really are bad.
Okay, bye. Susan? Am I recording?